of the UN, World War, and the end of the Red Team. This one is gonna be wild. No, no, you think that was clickbait? Oh, no, 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 no. We are having the end of the Red Team, or well, the end as far as the world is concerned. Of course, the monarchy is gonna live on because the monarchy has 9 billion children everywhere, literally everywhere. The amount of kids, the size of the royal family is insanely huge. Either way, we're actually gonna begin in America, where the first part of this video begins. In the Americas, remember the UN sustained zone, finally comes under destruction as the British start moving troops, leading. And that's because the British basically found a bunch of documents and or letters between the Grand Colombian president and his generals, basically saying how they're going to annex this entire place now, which they do. They annex the entirety of what's this place called? The UN sustained zone. And with British troops already in there, the British now declare war. All out war. This is with another coalition. However, the Red Team basically opposes this because it's the British. The Red Team doesn't like the British very much. And they're basically like Colombia, since we've already taken out the money, has no reason to continue defending this place and all rights to annex it once more. However, the British don't really agree with this, so they continue moving. Eventually, the Red Team and the British argue so much we have the dissolution of the United Nations because their only goal was to maintain that. Unlike in our time, they're not very significant. Over here, we actually have what's this? Where the Peruvian Federation or whatever their name was, they start moving in troops. Now remember, they're kind of not liked by the Japanese. So if I ever said they were liked, I'm wrong. They're not liked at all. The Japanese literally created these guys just so they could have a hand on the Peruvians. And so Peru very quickly begins to lose a lot of land. Meanwhile, the Japanese, or not the Japanese, the Nagasaki Republic, their puppet state, they come in, they start destroying a lot of things, and the Peru, they don't really care about the southern territories. Modern day, they do. This Peru is mostly based where Ecuador is, except Ecuador is under the control of the Grand Colombians. Either way, yeah, they abandoned the south and set up a new defense line over here, like over here. Meanwhile, their front over here collapses as Grand Colombian troops quickly take control of the disputed area as well as large chunks of Peru territory. This leads to a great cutoff right here and eventually the destruction of a large part of Peru's capital. A little bit of people escape though. Meanwhile, over in Africa, the Ivory Coast takes advantage of the fact that the British are weak and send a bunch of boats over here and lay siege to their South American capital. Eventually, they declare all out war and capture this territory. The British are kind of mad. Eventually, they do push the Ivory Coast, or not the Ivory Coast, the Gold Coast out, and alongside Nigeria declare war. Nigerian troops are quick to take control of these territories, however, are also quick to get pushed out. As remember, the Nigerians or Lagos Republic. I know for a fact I'm pronouncing Lagos at this point, or I'm pronouncing Lagos wrong. I refuse to correct myself because I find it funny. Either way, we have Ivory Coast troops moving in and taking control of all this territory. With this, we also have the Red Team's little puppet thing, the puppet looking thing, um, kind of moving in to occupy. This is not a war. This part's an occupation that very quickly gets very very big, capturing all this. And it looks like now this red team thing. This is the Abuja Republic because I'm pretty sure Nigeria has two main cities, Lagos and Abuja. Abuja's somewhere over there. We're gonna in this timeline it's over there. Okay, yeah. All right. With this, we have the eventual collapse of the Lagos Republic completely. Just like that. Yeah, they're gone. They collapsed. Uh, over here, the British are defeated in a series of battles, leading to them being pushed back into their own country, where they start holding out the defense line. Over here, Peru eventually just kind of surrenders as they realize that the Grand Colombians, they be cooking today. Like, they've been taking L after L. This is the day they cook. That's until the Aztecs join in on the war and completely destroy the Grand Colombian uh, regime. Capital's right there for the record. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna be a little pain. The Aztecs' conquest of Gran Colombia ends in a stalemate. Texas declares war on the Aztecs. And with this, we have Texan troops very quickly taking a large chunk out of the Aztec Republic, not Empire Republic, and they capture a very big chunk of things. The Red Team does not support them, even though they're enemies with the Aztecs, kind of. They're frenemies. They don't really support the Texas in this one, because they, just last episode lost all of this and don't feel like doing anything anymore. They feel like chilling for a bit. Eventually, we do have a stalemate on all fronts and a peace treaty. Alright, so beginning in Africa, we have, a large chunk of Lagos Republic stops existing, and the rest goes to the Abuja Republic. Over here, Gran Colombia stretches to every span of South America, and, these two, they annex their controlled territories. Why are there two random islands in the middle of the ocean? They just sunk. Okay, next, as you can probably see, the Aztecs, they now control that, and Texas got a little bit thicker. They got a little chunk of territories out of the Aztecs. With this, we're now gonna move on to the second thing in this video. That was World War Two. That was World War One. No, we've had World War One. That was like World War 8,000. Either way, that was a world war. We're gonna have a second world war that is going to be focused in this area of the world. So now we're actually gonna move into Greece, where a new nation is born called Greeceland. Except it's not really a new country. It's more of a semi-autonomous province, kind of like the Moroccans are right now and the French used to be. However, it again shows the rapid decline in the stability of the Red Team. With this, the Persian, the new Persia, Great Persia, as the Democrats call it, that sounded political. That sounded way too political to real life. That's not. This has nothing to do with the American elections. That's not what I meant by Democrat. Democratic rebellion says they basically like kind of declare war in Caspia, except they don't really declare war. They more so just treat it as a war without officially declaring war. Occupation, but way more brutal. Uh, they go in here. They capture a large chunk of territories. Yeah. Okay. So with that, actually have Persian troops now moving in and taking a large chunk. Caspia, meanwhile, declares war on these guys, so their military feels a little bit better about slaughtering Persian troops. However, it's more of defense because the Persians they be cooking a lot. Stanistan actually eventually joins in on the destruction of Caspia. Why? Well, they kind of want a coastline somewhere. They move in very fast. They take all of this stuff. Like, see, the only true OG countries were the red team, Caspia, the purple team, the blue team, Persia. Out of all of these, Persia fell into a completely different system. They got destroyed from the inside. Caspia's getting cooked. The red team collapsing. The purple team is the purple team. The blue team might be the only successful OG nation. Like, the red team's successful, but foreshadowing in the introduction, they're not going to be for much longer in this video. And, well, Caspia's getting cooked right now. It actually kind of hurts. It kind of hurts to kill off Caspia. Who knows, maybe I won't completely kill them off. Just mostly kill them off. Eventually, we have Persian troops taking control of all of this stuff. And now, we actually have revealed that Stanistan and the Kievan Rus actually work together to give the Caspians a new, government, and this leads to two main things happening in this world. Caspia, one, gets split up, and, like this, literally north and south out here. So we have North Caspia and we have South Caspia. South Caspia is under the control of the Persians, basically. However, not officially. So with this, two new countries, we actually have the groundworks for World War 9 million, billion, trillion in this world being laid. As Red Team's queen dies, and her daughter promises to avenge, one, her broken arms and legs, because remember, she got heavily injured in Persia, and two, her mother's career. With this, a spearhead goes into Persia, most of whose soldiers will never be seen again. I'm joking. It's a reconnaissance mission. I pronounced that horribly, didn't I? Alright, so they actually move in, and eventually they declare war on Persia, right here. And as you can see, a little bit of crossfire. That was unintentional, but it's going to continue still. Now, the Persians are not no Germans. I want that to be clear before I say this. However, we're going to call the Persian team the Axis, the Red Team's team, the Allies. This has nothing to do with real World War II. The Persians are not Germans. The Red Team are not good people. I would like to reiterate that the Red Team is not a good person. All right, so with that, we actually have, of course, the Kevin Roos and Stanistan joining on the Allies. Stanistan was unprepared for this, which is a little stupid of them. Because, when you're going to war with such a powerful nation, you usually make sure you're prepared. No, Stanistan doing their own thing out here, bro. No, throw away logic. We cooking ourselves. Okay, so they actually get absolutely destroyed. However, the Kevin Roos, alongside Caspia, launch an invasion into southern Caspia, which is very quickly loses its capital, and over here loses its capital. It had two capitals. One that was a de facto capital, which just got taken over, and the other which was their official capital. Either way, they are eventually completely destroyed, absolutely murdered, and the Stanistan, they send in a bunch of troops. Here, the Yellow Team, they declare war on the Great Motherland, the Kievan Rus, and begin their push into the Kievan Rus' territories. They call this Operation Barbarossa. Barossa. Very quickly, again, none of them have anything to do with Hilter. Yeah, they have nothing to do with him. None of the Axis members. Well, now that the Yellow Team is in the Axis or the Crimean Republic, again, that's their original name. We just call them the Yellow Team because they lost their capital, which was the reason they named themselves the Crimean Republic. Because Crimea now no longer is under their control. They literally got moved northwest. They started off in like Ukrainian stuff. Then they got moved up to Lithuania, and now they're in Poland and Czechoslovakia, or the Czechoslovak region, not the country. That country doesn't exist. The Serbians, remember, not the Serbians. The Green Team. Remember, most of their people are in here, but their president are from the Crimean Republic. However, their president is not, and much to the not liking of the people, he declares war, joining the Allies. Meanwhile, the Kevin Roos take this opportunity to very quickly defeat the Crimean Republic, who is now getting absolutely comboed. Well, yeah, the Crimean Republic's OG. They're not very successful. Back over here, the Persians now start moving in and declare war on the Mughal Empire. Why? Because remember, they have their own rebel group set up in the Mughal Empire that wishes to join them. Where the blue team actually takes this as an act of aggression and joins the Allies. Remember, the original Persian dictator stuff. His mother was held captive and then eventually deported here, where her son, or the king, was, or the military dictator king. Persia's politics are weird. They went from a monarchy to a dictatorship, a military dictatorship that was somehow liked by the people, to democracy, which is hated. I don't know. All I know is Uncle Sam would not enjoy this country at all. Anyway, so they then, Persian cooking over here. Stanistan getting cooked. Stanistan actually declares war on these poor souls. What have they done to you? There is a reason behind this. They want to reach somewhere where they can get an ocean, because that's their only goal out of this world war, to get an ocean, get somewhere near an ocean. They need to right now go destroy these guys, destroy the Chinese, which is not happening. Yeah. Meanwhile, China, they finally do something. Dun dun dun. The Chinese are doing something. They declare war on Tibet and Inner Mongolia, I'm gonna call it, and the Qing Republic moves in. They also declare war on Persia, which technically makes them a part of the Allies. However, they're kind of uninvolved in the other fronts. I could pull a funny and make the Nagasaki Republic a part of the Axis. For the purposes of this video not getting destroyed by YouTube's algorithm, I'm not going to do that. Manchuria, they also get into this action, and they grab a bunch of territories that they would like to own, and they start instating the purpose of those territories being theirs. China, or Qing, continue to push right here, and they capture all of this stuff right here. They're gonna capture that. They're gonna just commit some war crimes. So we're gonna they're gonna capture that, and then the rest of this nation, it is at war. As you can see, those little pieces of stuff. It is at war with the what are they called? Stanistan, yeah. So they actually lose a lot of territories to Stanistan. Eventually, they just collapse completely into the hands of the Stanistanis. Apparently they don't, because the bucket tool does not want to work today. So they're not going to get collapsed. They're going to get capitulated after being occupied. After this, we have Tibet, technically a part of the Axis, not really a part of the Axis, getting betrayed by the Axis as Persia moves in. However, this is more a preservation front as Persia looks to preserving Tibet's culture. I just realized this is physically impossible because Kashmir and the Himalayas are right there. So we're gonna ignore that. That never happened. The Achaemenids, meanwhile, they declare war on the Mughals. However, they don't actually move in. It's a phony war. They only do this so they can get trade benefits from China. Because China, they are at the side of the Mughals, but they don't like the Mughals. So, just for the purposes of saying they did something, the Achaemenids get in there. Red team, meanwhile, continues pushing. Now, you may be wondering, I thought it was the collapse of the red team. Why is the red team doing well? They're not. They're draining out their resources. Guess who just backstabbed them? The blue team. Blue team troops quickly move in to capture a large chunk of the red team. However, eventually the red team pays them off. This payoff is not very good. Why? One, civil war. Two, that means no money to defend against rebellions, and a huge chunk of rebellions outspurred everywhere within the country. This time, led by New Brunswick, Canada. No, I'm joking. They are actually led by an American rebellion, as the U.S. looks, or not the United States, but like just the United America, UA. The UA looks to regain sovereignty. Well, not regain, gain, not regain. These guys also declare war on the red team, no longer wishing to be puppets, which is fair. I do the same. If the people who control you are already collapsing, I jump into that too. These guys, they stay neutral. However, guess who don't? The British. The British don't. They move in to take out. Now the British, they actually already have a treaty. They're gonna give all this land to the soon-to-be independent Americans. However, they are gonna get economic benefits in this and get an alliance with the soon-to-be independent Americans. Americans quickly capture that. Meanwhile, fan favorite war about to happen. These two actually think that the Kievan Rus declared war on the red team. They did not. They're allies. I don't know why that happened. That leads to an assault being launched. Remember, that boy who got killed, tensions because of him were already kind of high because the population of both of these things combined is like 10,000. News gets around fast. Red team, Red team's thing is like way stronger in terms of military, in terms of economy, not really. In terms of allies with the native tribes around them, also not really. And so they get a little bit mm, back destroyed. Eventually, we have the red team collapse in America, except for this stuff. Uh, yeah, it's weird here. Eventually, they do push back. They do eventually do that. Except, news makes it that these two are not actually at war. So, Kevin Roos apologizes, gives a lot of money, and leaves. So that was a nice turn of events. Back over here, the rebellion continues to prosper until eventually they realize they can cut off this like waterways, and that since this is all that's left to power this dying front that the red team has against the rebellion, it's eventually targeted, destroyed, and with that we have the collapse of the red team in North America. With this, we actually have the Ivory Coast or the Gold Coast declaring war and joining the Axis. Firstly, secondly, they also start moving in and destroying a large chunk of the United States, or not the United States, the Red Team. Red Team puppets over here get destroyed by the British, and the British's puppets. British capture that. Their puppets take everything else until eventually these guys basically sign a treaty with the British saying, we'll give you some exclusive economic rights in our territory and declare war on the US, or not the US, the Red Team for you. The British agree. With this, the rest of the Red Team's stuff kind of gets destroyed by the Ivory or the Gold Coast. South African Union, they quickly take control of this territory that the Red Team has, as well as move in to take control of their old territories that they had lost previous. They very quickly do that and very successfully getting there till the rest falls into the hands of rebel groups, various rebel groups, and the rest is with the permission of the Red Team actually occupied by the African Union, and eventually will be annexed probably. Red Team now doesn't really know what to do, and so they basically talk with the what's their name? The blue team? Yeah, the blue team. Initially, these talks don't go well, but eventually, after a while, they still don't go well. And then, the blue team basically says, "Give us back this land. Damn it, this is our land. Why do you even have this land still? I thought we were allies, man. This should be returned to us." And so the blue team declares war on this tribe. However, they make very clear that this is an occupation, not a war. The sides are a little weird because um No one really expected the blue team to do this. Eventually, the red team's like, okay, how about this? We can talk about it. And back to the negotiation table. Guess who doesn't want to go to the negotiation table? That's going to be the Abyssinians, who feel like having a coastline. They very quickly move in. And with this, the blue team is like, screw it. We're just going to let these guys take it over and then declare war on them. And not only destroy them, but also take back what's ours. And yeah, they do just that. They very quickly move in, capture large amounts of territories within the Abyssinian civilization until they have enough to basically say, give us back that land. Over here, Carthaginian rebels terrorize nearby towns until they eventually do this. Yeah, this is not going well for the red team, is it? Moroccans meet up and they capture their own stuff. Egyptians, that's a rebel group we haven't seen before. They, in this world, Egypt is a lot bigger in where their ethnicity is. They don't actually have the Sinai in this world though, but they do have a large chunk of Libyan stuff. So they actually, they also rebel and they capture a lot of stuff. Greece moves in, however, stops right there, and Qatar also kind of pushes, but then stops. Ultimately, the red team loses Africa as a new thing is set up over there, Algerian stuff. With this, we actually have the Persian pushback of the red team back into the red team, and we have peace, kind of, for now. Let me drop a peace treaty. Okay, and finally, the last thing, the peace treaty. Last thing before we're ending this video. So, red team completely shrunk down, got independent Egypt, independent Greater Algeria. This is Algeria. This is Algeria. That's Libya. Algeria, Greater Algeria, Morocco, Carthage, Greece got independent. Qatar, which I'm gonna call Qatar. That we got the Persians, Greater Persia now. The Qing expanded, Manchurians expanded, Stanistan. I don't know. Stanistan looks like a freaking Russian buffer over here, which at this point they are. As you can see, the Qataris, they actually forced a large chunk of the desert and largely inhabited portions. The red team, they forced them to make it a semi-autonomous province, much like Carthage before it got independence. Uh, oh yeah, Africa. Red team independence here, and everything else got split. That little thing that the Africans or the African Union was told to kind of save through occupation, got saved through occupation. Um, Gold Coast got all of that. The America got independent, which we're just gonna call America. It's the Union of America. However, we're gonna call it. Well, it's the UA, United America, except we're gonna call it America. And then why is Minecraft open? What? I'm sorry. What? Okay. Well, close that. Yay. Oh yeah. Over here, green team's largely unstable because the yellow team stopped existing, and so now these people are kind of mad because they're all from the yellow team. Also got destroyed by the Kievan Rus, except a little bit of it over here got annexed by the what's their name? I forgot their name. Over here they look like West Virginia. Green team. Yeah, green team. We're gonna call them that because they are in the Balkans, and nothing in the Balkans is ever not controversial. Mughals got absolutely decapitated. We're gonna fix that. Blue team lost a little bit of Indian stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's a final look on the map for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't worry, I'm not ending the series. Actually, yes, I am. I want to go out with a bang. I'm joking. No, even though the red team's on the verge of collapse, I'm not ending the series. The series is never going to end. This might even go on to episode 100,000. Either way, red team is now, just because the red team collapsed doesn't mean the series is going to end. The red team, I am actually going to keep around. I know a bunch of you guys are red team fans and are going to be pretty sad if the red team is dead. So don't worry, the red team's not leaving anytime soon. They just got shrunk down a bit. They can probably reclaim all the way till Carthage, then they're gonna get stopped and decimated by the Commanders. But it's safe to say the new power standings are the British, the British. They're not in number one. I'm joking. We're actually gonna have the Kievan Rus at number one. Debated it's either them or Persia or China or Qing. Number two, Persia. Number three, Qing. Number four, British. Number five, actually no, number one, Kievan Rus. Number two, Blue Team. Number three, Persia. Four, Qing. Five, British. Six, Americas. Seven, Red Team. Eight, actually no, seven, Gold Coast. Eight, Red Team. Nine, I guess, either Grand Colombia or the Aztecs, one or the other. Either way, with that, that's the new power standings on military and economic average. So yeah, with that, good